Here's why that new Stranger Things detail about the X-Men means way more than you think. This week marked the anniversary of Stranger Things Day, and while we didn't get a surprise drop of the 4th installment of the hit Netflix streaming series, it did mean that we got a lot of fun messages from the cast, as well as a ton of blooper reels and behind-the-scenes moments. However, mixed in with all the celebration was a tweet from the official Twitter of the writers of Stranger Things that may have tipped the show's hand as to where the 4th and reportedly final season may head. In the tweet, we see the cover page of the script for the first episode of Stranger Things 4, titled Chapter 1, The Hellfire Club, along with the caption, "Looking for new members. Are you in?" Now, besides the obvious answer of hell yeah, of course we're in, we gotta say this is a far cry from the days of when we get all the titles for the upcoming season's episodes in one fell swoop. In fact, the folks behind Rick and Morty took a shot at this tactic by posting their own spoof of Stranger Things title reveals. Now, maybe the writers learned that releasing that much info at once was giving fans too much of a good thing, too many clues as to where the season might be heading, and with just one title this time around, well, there's no way anyone can really figure out all that much about the plight of Eleven, the Byers, and the rest of the gang. We'd have to be complete crackpots wearing tinfoil hats to think that we could unravel the entire season based on a single episode name, right? Wrong! Buckle up, folks, because we're going on one hell of a ride. Now, forgive our mixed metaphors here, but comic book fans of the X-Men might already have their spider senses tingling or their Cerebro hats a-jingling. I don't know. Who cares? The X-Men continuity is completely and we/they know that this title is not a reference to any IRL Hellfire clubs, because, look, those were just weird sex clubs for horny dudes in 18th century Great Britain. Pip pip. Now, while we know this season's gonna move beyond Hawkins, Indiana, we don't think they're gonna go there. You know what I'm talking about, Vicar. No, this is most definitely a reference to the fictional Hellfire Club from X-Men comics, and more than likely ties into the epic 1980s storyline, the Dark Phoenix Saga, and no, not the most recent X-Men movie that hit theaters earlier this year, so please, everyone calm down. God, that movie was legally a motion picture. The Dark Phoenix Saga, written by Chris Claremont and drawn by John Byrne, featured the mysterious Hellfire Club as its central villains. In that particular story, they tried to manipulate Jean Grey into thinking that she was in some sort of weird 18th century gothic romance, you know, because comics, and in the process ended up unleashing the Dark Phoenix, thereby almost destroying the entire universe in the process. Again, because comics. So if a young woman trying to keep her powerful mental abilities in check while they're being manipulated by powerful dudes with ulterior motives before they destroy all that she cares about sounds familiar to Stranger Things fans, well then, good, you've been paying attention. I mean, heck, this isn't even the first reference to the Hellfire Club in Stranger Things. If you remember way back in the first episode in 2016, Will Byers and Dustin raced their bikes with the prize being the ownership of Uncanny X-Men issue number 134, titled Heroes and Hellfire, one of the issues smack dab in the middle of the Dark Phoenix Saga. So what does this all mean for the new season? Well, Jean Grey's character has certainly been an influence on the show from the start, but naming the first episode of Stranger Things 4 The Hellfire Club means that things are probably gonna take a turn for the worse. Now, if we refer back to the comics, the person leading Jean Grey's mental manipulation in the Hellfire Club was Mastermind, a telepathic illusionist. But in the Stranger Things world, there's actually someone with a similar power set, Callie, aka 8, from Season 2. While we doubt that she would use her powers to harm Eleven or manipulate her for the worse, Callie, or perhaps a certain someone else from their shared past, could be manipulating one or both to try and take control of Eleven. I'm talking about the evil father figure, Dr. Brenner. Even though he appeared to become Demogorgon food in Season 1 of the series, Callie created a vision of him to torment Eleven in Season 2. And many people think the American tease at the end of Season 3 wasn't Hopper, but Dr. Brenner himself. His return would spell very bad things for Eleven, especially if he manages to somehow, through his renewed experiments, get her possessed by the Mind Flayer, who would be the Phoenix Force in this particular metaphor. It would basically be turning her evil, mirroring what happened to Jean Grey in the Dark Phoenix Saga. And honestly, it's safe to say that he definitely does not have Eleven's best interests at heart. Of course, some are speculating that the Hellfire Club might just be a fun nickname the gang gives themselves for their group as they continue to mature and try to maintain their friendships, despite the fact that the Byers are packing up and leaving town at the end of last season. Whatever the reason for the title is, the implications are undeniably pretty dark, considering the source material. Now, obviously, this is a lot to draw from a single episode title, but The evidence is there considering how much X-Men symbolism has been in the show thus far. With the rumored Stranger Things movies in the works, along with word that Stranger Things 4 could be the last season of the show, we expect to see the shit hit the fan in a major way. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens when the 4th season finally drops. But what do you folks think? What's the deeper meaning of the Hellfire Club in Stranger Things? Besides Dr. Brenner, who else do you think could be coming back? And are we going too deep into the X-Men mythology to figure out things about a TV show? Let's discuss! Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, why not give us a like and subscribe? If you want to get notified every time we go live with a brand new video, feel free to mash that little bell so you can be up to date on all the latest theories, news, and rumors in the pop culture world.